That's okay. Trust me. Hail Hydra.
Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG Build Guide Edition. Today I'm ready to drop on you my new Hail Hydra Runemaster. If you are a fan of fire and you are a fan of auto-targeting sentries, this is going to be the build for you. As always, I will cover every single facet of the build. Everything is timestamped in the description below if you need to bounce around. Let's not waste any time and jump right into this. Starting off with some gameplay. Now, the skills we're using for this Hydra build are Frost Wall, Flame Rush, Flame Ward, Runic Invocation, and Fireball. And obviously the main invocation is Hydra. And this does not scale with minion tags, okay? I was getting this question a lot. I know it's a sentry, and it's very minion-like, but it scales with fire, spell, area, and intelligence. It's a good little reminder. And the idea is very simple. We are going to cast a Frost Wall. We are then going to Flame Rush through it, which triggers Flame Ward. And then when we come out, we are going to make our little bomber. And we will continue that. In between cooldowns, we will be shooting Fireball that actually does really good damage and explodes. It also is going to build a lot of ward for us, and it is a good damage dealer. And then we'll be manually using Runic Invocation for extra damage. Let's take it for a spin. And as you can see, it manually targets everyone, and it'll hit the same target over and over again. Now for Flame Ward, we are spec'd into big damage. We're going to get a boost to our base fire and our fire percent. And it's going to give us survivability as well. So when we go through our Frost Wall, we're going to drop a very strong Hydra. Oh, give me that one. And you will just continue down this path. Frost Wall, Flame Rush, and then need a little extra damage, you drop a second one. Dead. And be careful when you're playing in groups, because if your groups, like last night, keep running through your wall, it's going to trigger that Flame Ward, and you'll have a hard time with mana. So just be careful. But you will notice that right now playing, I have no problem with mana whatsoever, and you want to be at that perfect number of 300. Let's take this dude on. You are dead. Get out of here. Right now, this is Corruption 220. Yesterday, we were playing at 260. Very, very easy. You will notice we have no problem with survivability. And right now, we are not using a Twisted Heart, and it is very easy for us to maintain 2,000 ward. It's honestly a very simple build and very, very strong. Let's fight a Shade of Oribus. All right, jump out of there. Shade of Oribus, Corruption 220. Ooh, fire versus fire, huh? This should be a pretty easy fight. Oh, he just getting tore up. What's interesting about Hydra 2 is it's got awesome range. You can even snipe people with it. And you, Shade of Oribus, are dead. Seriously, so easy. This build can be pushed so far. Let me show you how to recreate it. Starting off with the skills, and the first one we're going to look at is Flame Ward. Now pay attention to the order in which I take these nodes. This is the way you should go. Actually go down and to the left first. You want 3 into Dilation, 5 into Infusion, and 5 into True Flames. These two nodes are going to give you 250% fire damage and 10 base fire damage every time you go through your Frost Wall. You then want to come to the right, 1 into Stalwart Defense, 5 into Barrier, and 1 into Prismic Buffer. And if you have more points, put it into Prismic Buffer. Not only going to get that huge boost of damage, you're also going to get a boost of survivability with less hit damage every time you go through your Frost Wall. Moving over to Frost Wall, you actually want to go up first. 1 point into Biting Limit, 1 point into Crackling Barrier, because you need to turn this into a lightning skill, and I will explain that in a little bit. You then want to come down, 3 into Crystals of Protection, 3 into Boosted Kickoff, 1 into Prepared Wards. This is what makes it where you get you trigger Flame Ward every time you travel through your wall. You then want 1 into Purifying Gate, 3 into Arrival. This is going to give you an empowered Hydra when you manually cast it. You then want to come down, 3 into Marching Winter, 1 into Chilled Touch. Then you want to come to the right, 1 into Protection and 1 into Shelter of the Chef. Moving over to Fireball. Now I want to be clear with this skill. If you like Frost Claw in its fire form, you can use that skill. If you like Rune Bolt, you can use that skill. I tested both and I personally liked Fireball, but when it comes to this skill, that is your choice. Now you want to go to the right first, 4 into Adept, 3 into Manosphere. This makes it where the skill is now free. You then want to come down, Flammability, 1 into Ash, 1 into Flame Burst, and 2 into Volatile Flames. This makes it where your Fireball explodes, and it does do decent damage. And then your last 5 points right here into Winged of Fire. Now Fireball feels absolutely amazing if you take Fire Spray. The extra 2 projectiles with it homing is just awesome, but you have to be able to afford the mana cost. So that's up to you if you can make it happen. Moving over to Flame Rush, you want to come down first. 2 into Fury Overload, 1 into Epi. This makes it where when you come out of Flame Rush, you make your Hydra. 3 into Lunar Protection, 3 into Runic Eclipse, 3 into Guidance, lots of damage reduction. 3 into Blazing Flux, then you want to come to the right here. Guidance of the Flames, 3 points, and as long as you cast Fireball and then use Flame Rush in that same direction, you're going to get area damage and your mana back, which now makes this skill free. And then our last 2 points, I put it into Solar Rush. Last but not least, Runic Invocation. You want to go to the left and down first. 4 into Approach, 1 into Patterns, 1 into Arcania, 1 into Order. Then you want to go to the right. You want 3 into Power, 1 into Lagan, and here you actually need a little bit of Shock chance if you don't have it on your weapon or Catalyst, because Shock on the rune word inside of the passive tree is going to boost your armor. You want to get a little bit of Shock chance. You then want to come to the left, 1 into Runeslinger, 4 into Raya. It's going to give you 24% or 24 base spell to your Hydra. Then you want 1 into Lore and 4 into Ruin. Now this node right here, Order, is the most important node on this tree. This makes it where the skills on your skill bar is going to determine the runes that it makes. So for example, we want Lightning, Fire, Fire. And it doesn't matter what we do, it is always Lightning, Fire, Fire, which makes Hydras. That is why we have to convert our Frost Wall to Lightning and put it first on our bar. Lightning, Fire, Fire, and that is how we always make our Hydras, and those are the skills. Moving over to the passives, right now our Runemaster is level 98, and we have all the points that you get from the campaign. Almost level 100. We're actually really close to level 99. Starting in the base tree, we have 2 into Scholar, 8 into Arcanist, 5 into Mage Flurry, and 5 into Knowledge of Destruction. Now, I want to be clear. If you need more mana, you're trying to get to that magic 300 number, you can flip-flop these. So you can put 8 into Scholar and 2 into Arcanist. Personal choice, okay? Moving over to Runemaster. Since Fireball costs no mana, we have 5 into Unsealed mana, 8 into Arcane Focus, and 6 into Transcendence. You want to make sure for this to work, you have at least 60 Intelligence. 300 mana, 60 Intelligence, magic numbers. 8 into Sphere of Protection, 7 in Triumph, 8 into Never Late, 3 into Rune of Dilation, 6 into Inscribed Instruments. You want to make sure you're using a wand to get this 72% increased crit strike multiplier. 5 into Decree of the Burning Wind, 8 into Ancient Inscriptions, 6 into Runestones. This gave us a big boost to our survivability. 1 into Runeward Inferno, and like I said, you need a stack of Shock in order to get the boost to your armor. and then last 4 points into Jagged Veil. So that's the Runemaster tree. Moving over to Sorcerer, we have 5 into Calculated Destruction, 5 into Arcane Momentum, and 6 into Essence. Those are the passives. Moving over to everyone's favorite, which is of course gear, starting with idols. And there's actually a lot of idols that can benefit you, so that means you got lots of options. Starting right here with the 3x1. Ward granted when casting Flame Ward, and you can get this with fire damage. This is a 52-14. It can roll as high as 64-27. You can also get this idol if you need more base mana. Same idol where you're going to get the fire damage as high as 27, and you can get up to 27 mana. Now on the 2x2s, you always want fire on the bottom affix, and on the top affix, you can actually get ward retention. So if you can get a perfect ward retention with 38 fire damage, 4 2x2s is likely the best, unless of course you need added mana, or you are really spec'd into ward and you're casting Flame Rush all the time, or Flame Ward all the time. This could also help you as well. So lots of options when it comes to idols. Moving over to gear. Now, I'm going to go as far as to say is that this unique really is required to make this build shine. And of course, this is Box of Hydra. And I was very lucky to be able to move over a tier 6 critical strike multiplier to the only one I have found so far. It just gives us so much with fire penetration and to skills, and it just makes your Hydra so much stronger. This is a requirement for the build to be good. Okay, let's go through each item one at a time. Helmet, fire penetration. Amulet, fire, shred, great amulet. Catalyst, crit strike multiplier. Armor, very basic armor. Intelligence, life armor. Wand, cast speed, spell damage. Ring, damage. Belt, damage, life. Ring, spell, intelligence. Gloves, intelligence, life, cast speed. And boots, vitality, movement, armor, and life. That is the gear. Now let's break down the stats for our Hail Hydra. Like I said, level 98, intelligence 79, vitality 26, movement speed 33. But this gets a big boost from haste from our frost wall, and we get a boost from our passive tree and an additional 10% through arcane momentum. Now for resistances, void, necrotic, poison, physical, and fire are all solid. Just need to spread the wealth a little bit and get more for lightning and cold. Armor is solid, and this will get a boost when you are in combat from our rune word, and ward retention is at 366. For other defenses, our critical strike avoidance is exactly 100, which is perfect because going over gets you nothing. Endurance threshold is amazing at 653, and I'm just waiting to find that ring that has endurance percent, because obviously you want this number at 60. Now, when you're looking at damage, our spell critical strike chance in its base form, not counting crit you get off the trees, is 56%. So this is almost a guaranteed crit build. And critical strike multiplier 364 with fire damage at 539. But remember, when you go through your frost wall, it is gonna look like this. So now your cast speed's over 100, and we had, what was that fire damage? Was that 800? 789. So you're gonna get a big boost to your cast speed and damage when you go through your frost wall. Those are the stats. Now let's talk sustain. Aaron, this is great. How do I stay alive in Endgame? Great question. We're gonna start off with our skills. Now, obviously, Flame Ward is gonna be triggering all the time, literally all the time, just like you saw in the gameplay. And this is gonna give you a ton of damage reduction, as high as 40%, and even higher against elemental damage taken. On top of that, inside of Frost Wall, you're going to get big ward boosts while you are going through that as well with 3 different nodes, and you're going to be able to run faster, and you are going to be able to cleanse negative ailments. Again, all of this happens when you travel through your Frost Wall. On top of that, you're also casting Flame Rush all the time, which is going to give you further damage reduction through its tree. Runemaster is surprisingly very, very tanky. So those are the skills where you're going to get lots of damage reduction and ward generation. On top of that, inside of the passive tree, you're going to get further damage reduction right here with Sphere of Protection. And then these 3 nodes right here, since we have a skill that costs 0 mana and we have over 60 intelligence, these 3 nodes are going to keep you over 2,000 ward while you are in combat. Now, this build does not use Twisted Heart, which would get us in the 6 to 10,000 range. We're using Box of Hydra. So since we can't have a Twisted Heart right here, you will have to use that damage reduction with the ward generated through your passive tree. And then basically what I showed you, get your resistances, get your crit avoidance, and get your endurance. But that alone will get you past 300 corruption mark. Last but not least, let's talk leveling. Aaron, this is great. How do I get it from level 1 to what I see today? Another good question. Now, I'm actually changing up my leveling tips for all mages because recently I just leveled another one and I have a better way to go about it. Now, the first skill you want to take is Elemental Nova, and you actually want to take Elemental Nova in its fire form, okay? First skill you want is Elemental Nova. The second skill you want to take is Teleport. The reason why that is that in the teleport tree, you can make it where it casts 3 Elemental Novas. That way, while you are traversing the campaign, you're using your movement skill and you are killing enemies all at the same time. And the third skill that you want is Frost Claw, and you want to put 3 points into Gift of Winter. You want to take this node right here, which turns it into a fire skill, and then you want to come to the left and take Frozen Rain, so that Frost Claw basically costs you no mana. So you are shooting enemies with a Fire Frost Claw. You are teleporting around the map, auto casting Elemental Nova. And then on your bar, you want to put Flame Ward. This is going to give you, even though you're not spec'd into it, survivability when you need a little boost. And then if you spec into something and you can't keep your mana up, you should also put Focus on your bar. That way you could channel mana back up when you need it. But Fire Frost Claw, Fire Elemental Nova, and Teleport triggering Elemental Novas will get you to end game. Last little tip, the reason why I switched to fire is because of this item, Fire Starter's Torch. Very easy item to find with legendary potential, so you can boost it up this item, use those 3 skills, and you can use it at level 1. All right, everyone, that's the build guide. What do you think of my new Hail Hydra? Is there something I missed? Is there something I can do to take this to the next level? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. 2 asks at the end of the video. Ask number 1. I'm hoping today is the day I have earned your subscription. I'm hoping today is the day you make the decision to push that little red button. I would really appreciate it. But of course, only if you think I've earned it. And if I haven't earned it, I promise you, I'm going to work harder for you. Ask number 2. I get asked all the time, Aaron, what's the best way to support? And Patreon is it. You get the most added benefits. You get access to the bonus hour of the podcast. You get access to the VIP lounge. You get access to live streaming audio and video with me, and so many other perks. I post tons of stuff on Patreon. So that is the best way to support into the future as we are making our transition into full time. I appreciate all of you. Get into the Discord. I'm on there every day interacting with everyone, answering questions, just trying to make an awesome action RPG community, and we are approaching 3,000 members. I'm done. Have a great night. Hopefully you're entertained or at least learned something. Aaron, out.
you